support any comments that may slander, discriminate, or otherwise offend anyone, and we insist that you refrain from any such statements.
OTR Nation, prepare yourself. This is gonna be a show to remember with your hosts Shan and Deli as we dive into deep conversation about relationship, true crime, travel, entrepreneurship, health, and much, much more. Join us right here on Sugar City FM 90.3 every Wednesday night, starting from 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. Also live on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube at Off the Record Radio Show or Off the Record Radio Program. You're listening to the sounds of Off the Record with your host, Shan and Deli on Sugar City 90.3 FM. Advertise with Off the Record today by emailing us at offtherecordprogram@gmail.com. That's OFFTHERECORDPROGRAM@gmail.com. You may also call or WhatsApp us at 869-765-4342. Thank you for your partnership.
Alright, good night and welcome back to another episode of OTR with our viewing and listening audience. Uh, Tonight we have myself, Kashif, and Deli as our
Hi
co-hosts.
guys.
And as usual, this is your safe space. So grab your blanket, grab your snacks, and don't forget the numbers available to call are 466-0903. And tonight we have some amazing discussions for all of you. Isn't that right, Deli?
Of course, as always.
So tonight we're getting into a discussion about, do you treat a woman with equality or do you treat her like a princess? And hopefully we're going to have like some amazing responses from Deli. And might I add that Chantal will be here a bit later. But we're going to have an amazing show. We're going to have that discussion, and then we'll go into conversations about good friends in betrayal, and of course, then we're going to get into the letter to OTR. So let's kick it off, right? So Deli, I haven't seen you in a bit, but it's glad to have you like with me again, and I hope that you're really gonna give me your all for this one. So. Ladies, I have a very interesting question for you. Would you rather your man give you the princess treatment or treat you like an equal? And don't forget, you can call in and add your opinion at any time. But Deli, since this question was directed to females, what's your opinion on this so far?
I think that I should be treated as both. I don't think there should be an either or.
Okay, that's a very interesting explanation. So when you say it's both, because for us as men, sometimes you need to clarify things because a lot of stuff gets lost in translation.
Okay.
Okay.
So it's
So
like
it's like
um we should
we
be
should
equal.
be
My
equal. My
partner and
partner and
I
I
should be
should be
equal.
equal.
But
But
why, if
why,
I'm
if I'm
equal,
equal,
shouldn't he treat
shouldn't
me
he
as a
treat me as a
princess?
princess?
Okay, that's a very good question, but I think I forgot actually, Delhi. Yeah, that I said that you're here with us, but I forgot to ask you, like, where are you right now? I don't know if we're having some audio issues. Okay, so we'll come back to Delhi. So basically, Delhi was stating that men should treat women like equals, and why doesn't the equal treatment mean being like a princess? But from a terminology of a man, um, I have to say, some people or some of us don't understand what being treated like a princess is, you know? And for us, it's a very foreign terminology. Like you tell a man, oh, you're a princess or princess treatment, and we don't understand. We understand that, okay, we can give you money, we can take care of you, sort out the bills, make sure that you're comfortable. But what does princess treatment mean? We're just going to try and verify if we have audio.
Can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
Yes, Deli, I'm glad you're back with us. So I think it was a two-pronged question. So why don't we let our listening audience and, of course, your dedicated fans tell them where you are right now?
Okay, guys,
Okay, guys, I'm
joining
joining
you
you
from
from
London,
London,
England.
England.
Deli, you're very far right now.
Yes, I
Yes, I
am.
How'd you get all the way over
So
there? What are you doing there?
crazy. Well,
well,
I took
I
the
the
banana
banana.
boat.
I'm sorry, could you repeat that?
I took the
I took the
banana
banana
boat.
boat.
You took the banana boat to England. The banana boat goes to England now?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it does.
it does.
Oh, wow. So you took the banana boat to England, and because you know you had so many adoring fans that are waiting for you to be on Off the Record, you decided that you have to make an appearance, even given the 8 hour, 9 hour time difference.
It's
It's
a
a
10-hour
10-hour
flight,
flight,
but I'm
but I'm
actually
actually
5 hours
5 hours
ahead of you
ahead of you
guys.
guys.
So I
So I
stayed up
stayed up
until
until
12
12
a.m.
a.m.
to
to
join.
join.
So it's currently 12 a.m. for you.
It's eight
It's
minutes
8
past
minutes
12.
past 12.
It's 8 minutes past 12. So listen to this, Off the Record family. Deli loves you guys so much. She's here. She's making sure that you hear her lovely voice and you can see her lovely face on our live stream. And we're here to have all the discussions that you need for your Wednesday night and trying to make sure that if you've had a rough week, that we bring you in right. And there are no better people to do it with than us. So Deli, back to my question. As I was saying, us men might not know what the princess treatment is. Like, we are raised a certain way. We know we have to take care of our family. We know we're told that we're supposed to treat you right. And for us, the right treatment just might be bringing in money, making sure you're good, you want your hair done, you want your nails done. So, am I correct in assuming that's the princess treatment, or there's like a whole other thing to it?
Okay.
Okay.
Princess
Princess
treatment
treatment
basically
basically
means
means
that
that
our
our
partners,
partners,
they
they
treat
treat
us
us
to
to
pedicures,
pedicures,
manicures, and they
manicures, and
love
they love
us
us
and
and
take us
take
out
us
to
out to
trips
trips
and buy
and buy
flowers
flowers
and
and
all of those
all of
fancy
those
stuff.
fancy stuff.
So what
So
I
what I
don't get
don't get
is
is
the
the
question
question
is
is
princess
princess
treatment or
treatment or
equal?
equal?
Me and my
Me and
partner
my
can be
partner can be
equal.
equal.
We
We
can
can
share
share
responsibilities at
responsibilities at
home,
home,
contribute to
contribute to
bills,
bills,
food,
food,
groceries,
groceries,
whatever.
whatever.
But
But
he
he
still has
still
to
has
like
to like
treasure me
treasure me
I still expect dates, I still expect flowers, I still expect massages and pea rubs. So I don't understand why it's either or. It's like both. It's supposed to be both.
Okay, so if I give you like the basic man understanding of this, right? It's like if you're telling me I want you to be my equal and I'm spending money or we're spending money, we're handling bills, we're making sure that we're good at home, why is it that I now have to take extra money and take you on trips and take and give you massages and stuff like that? Why can't that mean basically like we go half on it and both of us, go for a massage together? You want to get pampered with your champagne. I want to wax too.
Actually, really?
Really, I want to wax. And I don't want a regular, I want that sugar scrub. That's what you guys call it, that sugar thingy. I want that type of wax. So why can't I say, okay, you know what? I think you deserve a wax, but I deserve a wax too. So let's both go half on a wax. Because that's equality to me. Because equality means that we're both on the same level, giving the same amount of energy and effort.
Okay, Kashi. So it's like you are thinking that once it's princess treatment that we don't spend no money on our partner. It's like we're just on the receiving end, and we keep getting and we just take and we take and we don't give. So it doesn't work that way. If I am being treated like a princess or queen because I'm grown, then I am going to treat my partner like a king. And based off experience, that is my standard. That is how it should be. Like I can take my partner out on dates. I've done that. And I do that because I think he deserves it. So maybe it comes down to whether your partner has that mindset where he feels like his woman deserves to be treated in this way. Like, does she deserve to get flowers? Does she deserve to go be taken out on dates? Does she deserve to just be like you know? So
Okay, I agree to this statement, and I understand where you're coming from. I mean, I agree that it takes a certain mindset, and sometimes you're in a relationship and the mindset is not, that same mindset that you have is not there, because there's a saying, and I don't know if you've ever heard it, that says that if you want a partner, or locally, if you want a woman, you have to be able to spend. Woman ain't cheap, And that's a normal thing, and it's a cultural thing where we're like, okay, you're going to have to do things, and whatever you have to do, just remember that you will not get any returns on it, and if you can't produce it, as they say, somebody else can, right? And it's easy enough to say for yourself that, okay, you give the king treatment and that you would see to his needs as well. And I think that is where your equality comes in and your princess treatment. And if you look at the question, we're only asking females about the princess treatment. But what about those persons that just think that, okay, I have a partner, I have a man, and he's supposed to do for me? A lot of women think, if you're not doing anything for me, then you're not supposed to be in my life. If you can't take care of bills for me and then take me out to eat, wine and dine me, make me feel special, then you can't be with me. But then we don't look at, okay, does this gentleman have multiple sources of income? Can he afford that? What's his salary? And they're just like, if you want to be with me, you want to there with me, you have to spend the money.
I think it's a certain type of woman that you're talking about. Like I've never expected a man to pay my bills. I pay my bills. But if we're in a relationship and I'm speaking about myself. If we're in a relationship and we live together, then I expect that both of us will be contributing to the bills, to like stuff that we both benefit from. And if that is a mutual and is equal, then the princess or the queen and the king treatment that's added after, or it's in the mix, and it's the treatment you get is based on how well we work together, how happy I am, how the partnership is working, if it's growing, if it's healthy. Because once I'm happy, then it's gonna be happy. I'm gonna make sure he's happy. He's doing what he's supposed to do. He's doing his part. I'm doing my part, vice versa. So that's how it works for me.
Okay, brilliant, brilliant. So I do think for me that equality means like we're on equal footing, and yes, I don't think I'm over you. I don't think because I'm the provider that I should dictate what you say, what you do, and those of the sort. And I do think that I would do special things for you. I would see to your needs. I would learn you over time and be like, okay, she likes roses. She likes to go this place. She likes to go that place. She likes to have tacos on Tuesday. And it's those things that add up that I hope, and you could correct me if I'm wrong, make the so-called princess treatment. But at the same time, if I feel like you're equal, I do definitely feel like I need to feel appreciated. I'm not the type that would be like, oh, I did this for you, so well you don't do that for me. But you want to feel appreciated. You want to know like, hey, I go out my way to learn everything about you and to make you always feel happy and comfortable. Like if you're sad, I know. And I'm going to do something about that. So I do agree. And I can see where personalities might conflict that dynamic. But let me put an interesting aspect or twist to this. What if we both feel like we should be treated like the princess?
Especially if a man usually treated prince, want, but not a princess.
Oh, okay. Well, I see that we have a comment right quick. That's Sile or Sila? Sly. Oh,
Sly.
Sly. Sly says, I think that women should be treated like queens, not princesses.
I agree.
And he goes on to say, it's not just about taking a woman to dinner, it's also about the ultimate respect. And that's a very brilliant point. So we've touched on a lot of material things, but just the way you communicate, the way you understand, the way that your body language comes off, you're understanding that if she's frustrated, she is annoyed about something, you might be confused, because I'll say it again, I'm going to make this clear for all our listeners and viewers, we are not mind readers. We are not magicians, we are not mind readers, and human nature dictates that we have to learn patterns and pick up on problems. And over time, I will learn you and I will understand you. And I'm going to tell when something's wrong. The world might not know, like, okay, everything's wrong with you, Delhi, if I could use an example. But then when you come home or we meet up and just by the way your eyes are set or your body language, I know that there's a problem. And of course I should come to you respectfully. I've met certain gentlemen or guys that just, yeah, what's wrong with you? Get over that. And people take things differently. And so for them, I'm going to take a shot in the dark with this statement and say that's being treated as an equal, because if my boy see something wrong with me, like I have problems with my girlfriend or something like that, then I'm like, bye, you're gonna be good. Get over that. And so it's just what they learned. And so for them, that's me treating you as an equal. So I can understand where the statement comes in now that I need to respect you and treat you like a queen.
Yeah, you're right, Ashay. I think this topic is like a topic because like you mentioned, it has a lot of personality also. I think this question even like this question should even be a question. if you're with a partner who respects you, who gives you the ultimate respect, as our friend Sally said, then you don't. This question shouldn't it shouldn't come up. And if you're with someone who is invested in you and in your relationship, then being equal question shouldn't come up, because this person is going to make sure they do what they have to do, and they're going to make sure that you're doing what you have to do, because it's a partnership. So wherever you're lacking, your partner is supposed to be able to tell you, hey, you're not doing your best in this area. Maybe we could work on you doing better, or improving it, or whatever it would take. So this question shouldn't be, and it shouldn't be a question.
All right. So I understand where you're coming from. What I would love to highlight, though, is that for you, it's not a question. And some people really don't know what they're doing, you know? And OTR is a safe space. And we're here discussing this topic, not only to say, hey, you should be doing this, but as a learning exercise. We're here with you. And some people might be going through this similar situation right now. And I love that you said that communication is key. Because I might not know. This might be my first relationship. I might be bad at relationships. I might be bad at understanding people. I might be in my own bubble just thinking, yeah, but I doing good, you know? And not realizing that you're not communicating, you're not trying to figure out your partner's needs and stuff like that. So I love that you brought the communication aspect into it, and I love that Sly also spoke about respect. So once you communicate respectfully, because a conversation can turn into an argument very quick just by the wrong tone, the wrong word, the wrong statement. And sometimes you say things that you might not want to say, but it's just because you feel like you're being attacked or you feel like you're being misunderstood. So all in all, I think we have like an idea of what we're doing now. And so equality doesn't just mean me and you handle business together. There's a whole emotional and mental level to this that we need to tap into and understand. And of course, you're not going to get it off the bat, and you should probably take your time, slow down, look for the signs, Little things build up. And that's what I tell people. Little things like, how was your day? And when she talks about, Stacy or Kevin in the office did this, and you might not think it as anything, but then you might say, how was your day? Like 3 weeks later, and it's a whole different Stacy and Kevin conversation. And then that's when you have to pick up and you are like, oh, I think something's wrong, or did this happen today? This isn't normal. And you get to the situation. How you repair it is up to you, whether you sit and you talk about it, you let the person vent, or you're like, let's go for a drive, or let's go get some ice cream, stuff like that. Or you'll be like, oh, I realize they've been stressing you a lot. How about we take a vacation? Like, let's plan this. That type of stuff. But I really do want to come back to my question again. What if the person thinks that they deserve more? What if me in a relationship, she's like, oh, she wants to be treated like a princess. I'm working hard. I want to be the princess. I'm not going to say king, because I believe that queens and princesses are supposed to have a higher level of special treatment. So what happens then? What do we do then?
If you're in a relationship and you want to be treated better, given more, then like I said, you need to talk to your partner about that. If you feel like you want to be taken out on dates, which is fine, you can be taken out on dates. There is no problem with that. Taking my partner out on dates before. I think in a relationship, maybe this is where the question comes in. Because if I expect to be taken out on dates and bought flowers and gifts and messages, then my partner have the same luxury. So for you, Kashi, if that's what you want, if that's what you expect from your partner, then you need to be set clear.
I agree, and I think one good statement to have in a relationship when you're trying to figure out, is she my equal? Should I treat her like a princess? Should I treat her like a queen? Treat others just like how you'd want to treat yourself, and treat your partner, you know, on a level that's above that, you know. And I think that kind of works for everybody. Because when you're not looking around like, oh, they don't do this for me or they don't do that for me, but everybody puts their best foot forward, you don't have to worry about that. Things kind of flow. You don't look at, okay, I'm doing all of this and they don't see me as the person that you want to be seen. But you're like, I'm seeing you as the queen, the empress, my equal, and you're just happy to do these things. You shouldn't be doing these things to look for reward. You shouldn't be doing these things to look for acknowledgement or prove that you're better than other people. Be you, be respectful, and just do what you're supposed to do and do it to the best of your ability.
I agree with you, but I feel like, why should I be in a relationship age 80 and my partner's 80? Some people really don't have a conscience here, because if you're in a relationship and your partner is 80 and you're going to sit down with your legs folded, giving 20, and you have to yourself, like, you could sit down and just feel yourself knowing that you're taking 80% of what this person is giving you and only giving 20. Like, it's not going to click in your head like, this person is giving me 80. Like, I need to add an extra 60 to the 20 to give them back the 80. You know? So,
Actually, that's a very good aspect. And, you know, again, maybe that's where the communication step comes in, because you realize, okay, I am actually genuinely just giving everything I have. I'm treating you on a specific level. I'm treating you like myself, better than myself. And yet, as you said, I'm giving 80 and you're only giving me 20. That's when you sit down and you have a conversation, maybe. And out of that conversation, you might make a decision. If you see a change, if you don't see a change, it's all about your time frame and what you're willing to accept and how you want the person to show that they're growing as well. Because, I mean, we can't just say, okay, you have to do better and then expect tomorrow for a change to happen out of the blue, and all of a sudden it's now 80% and 120%, which is horrible maths, but you know what I'm saying.
yeah.
So,
Right.
do we have any more final comments for our viewers or our listeners about this? We have a comment from Sly once again. Sly said, I taught my sons to treat women like they saw their dad, like how they saw their dad treat their mother. I taught them to open doors, pull chairs, walk side by side, listen first, ask for suggestions. So that is like on point and brilliant, because at the initial conversation I talked about a culture. I talked about us men especially not understanding how to deal with our partners, our wives, and the women in our lives basically. And a lot of this starts from training. A lot of this starts from home. A lot of this starts from your parents, your grandparents, your family around you, your community, even your neighbors, because as you grow, you become a product of your environment, unless you choose to do better or worse. But I think we need to take accountability or give accountability to our parents as well. And if I grow up and I see my father not treating my mother well or not treating women well, I'm going to think, okay, this is how it should be. I'm going to think, okay, my father used to do for my mother was basically he worked all day, he gave her money, she bought food, the house, he took care of the house, he built her a house, he gave her a car, and then you realize there was like no emotional investment. There wasn't that connection. It was just all physical stuff and monetary stuff. I don't know, we may joke and make claims about go where the money is at and stuff like that. But we really do need to train our young men to understand and listen more and speak in a certain manner and way that is more respectful. So I totally
I
agree with that
agree. I
comment.
mean, we take a lot of the things that we believe now is culture. It's learned culture. It's based on society, based on your community where you grew up, what you were taught, what you saw, right? And in a lot of the older relationships that we would have seen growing up, the man was the head of the household. He made sure that the family had all the necessities. The wife didn't necessarily have to work, unless she chose to. Most of the time, they would be allowed to, and that's another topic. But some things we have to honor. We have to honor them because we're a different generation. We feel different. We think different. So the norms of the past necessarily going to work to the advantage of our lives right now or in the future.
Correct, correct. And other than just looking at just young men, and you said we're looking at both genders, and we're trying to make sure that they're raised in a very appropriate way. And we have to understand that communication and being respectful to our differences, how we were raised, is very much key. Um, I don't know if in closing you have any more comments about this topic, Deli?
My comment would be it depends on the relationship that you have with your partner. Not everyone is really concerned about being treated like a princess or a queen, and that's fine with them. But if you're a woman who wants to be treated or feel like a queen, then you have to let your partner know, because a lot of the times men are clueless. You give them a hint, it's like it don't make a sense. You don't give them hints. Say exactly what you want. Say exactly how you feel. Tell him you want flowers. Tell him roses are your favorite. Tell him you like chocolates. Tell him you like to go to the cinema. You like popcorn. Tell him you like massages. Tell him you like to go to the beach. Just relax. You have to say what you want, because if you don't, how is he going to know that that's what you like? He's not gonna know. He's not gonna know. The men can't read minds of ladies. So that's my comment.
Correct, and I'll agree with that. And from my final input to this topic, ladies, yes, we don't read minds. We can't just magically make things happen without knowing. But at the same time, guys, I want you to know that sometimes you need to be more observant and take time to listen to what your partner has to say. Sometimes it's easy to just pick up on a pattern. Yes, she might not tell you anything, or you might have even missed her mentioning something. And sometimes you just have to understand who she is and just learn her in a certain aspect and just try to be very respectful, because yes, she's your equal, but yet at the same time, she is your queen. We're not going to use the word princess anymore. We're going to slash that. We have queens out here, and they need to be treated like that.
Exactly.
So I guess we'll take a short commercial break and then come back to our next topic.
motivation, holy strength. Enjoy life and don't complain. You got to pray like every day. And things will be irate. Better days are coming, coming. Change your ways. Don't let this moment pass you by and remain the same. Better days are coming, coming. Change your ways. Don't let this moment pass you by and remain the same. Hey, let them know I don't have no time for no drama. Misperforming on stage, I'm singing the soca. Yeah, that is life, I can't complain. When things nice, it's felt like rain.
Okay, and welcome back to OTR. And we're moving on to our next topic, which is very interesting and very tragic. And I'm sure we need maybe another 10 hours to talk about this. So, Deli, have you heard about a situation with a young woman from the US named Shanquella Robinson?
Of course, I have. It's a really unfortunate situation. Like, this just makes you question all of the relationships that you have. Not even only friendships, like every single relationship that you have. Like, you really can't trust people, and every day you get another reason as to why you have to be careful with who you associate with, who you go out with, who you keep in your space, because it's so dangerous.
I agree totally. And for a little context of the persons that might not be aware of this story that is actually like trending and blowing up. So a 25-year-old woman died during a vacation to Mexico, and her family wants answers. I see we have a phone call coming in. Hi, good evening. You're on the air with Off the Record.
Oh, good night. I think I called the wrong number.
You sure?
Pardon? I think I called the wrong number.
All right. Okay, well, again, don't be afraid to call in. Our lines are open. And if there's any input that you have, we're here to have this discussion. This is our safe space, and we're trying to just iron things out as we go through the week. So I'll repeat, a 25-year-old woman died during a vacation to Mexico, and her family wants answers about a video that shows her being beaten. So, a 25-year-old woman from Charlotte, North Carolina, died during a trip to Mexico with friends last month, but after a video showed her being beaten, her family is calling for justice and truth about the circumstances of her death. Shanquella Robinson, who ran a popular hair braiding business and online boutique, was found dead in her hotel on October 29th, while on vacation with friends in San Jose del Cabo. Local authorities said Wednesday they're continuing to investigate her death. The FBI in Charlotte confirmed that they have been in contact with Robinson's family and are aware of the video circulating online. Robinson's mother, Salamandra Robinson, told news outlets that initially her daughter's friends said she had died of alcohol poisoning. They spoke with her Friday evening. She was having dinner and never spoke with her again, Robinson's mother said. On Saturday evening, they called and said she wasn't feeling well and they were going to call a doctor. And when they called, the doctor hadn't arrived yet, but they said she had alcohol poisoning. But according to the death certificate, Shanquella Robinson's death was caused by severe spinal cord injury and atlas luxation. So, given the situation, it seems that the video going around of her being beaten was of her friends basically attacking her and basically leaving her for dead, while reporting to her family that she was suffering issues of alcohol poisoning. And as Delicia basically said, it's a very tragic and unfortunate situation where, given all of this awareness and warnings with social media and online and protecting yourself, I'm sure it's completely different, like from 20 years ago, where you would go out and these situations were more common, that persons are told to be careful, look at what your bartender is doing, be aware of your environment, and as a young woman especially, always just be prepared and be careful. But it's a whole other story when you think that your protection or your comfort zone that you went with are the ones responsible, are the ones that are planning to actually do these type of nefarious, disastrous acts. And I'm still trying to wrap my head around this, Delhi. And I don't know how you take it as a woman, thinking that the people that you trust or your friends who you believe would have your back would be the same people to say, hey, let's go out for a drink, and then try to set you up and then basically lead to your death.
So I have been paying attention to the story for the most part, and the doctor arrived at the hotel room. She was actually still alive. Well, after the Airbnb, she was actually still alive. So apparently, and allegedly, the friends told the doctor to take her to the hospital or not to call an ambulance because it was just alcohol poisoning. But later on in the report from the autopsy, they found out that she had all those other injuries that could have never come from alcohol poisoning. And then the video came out that showed the friends beating her up and allegedly stole from her. She was the one who paid for the Airbnb or something like that. So personally, I think it was a setup. I feel like it was a setup. Like, I don't think something could have happened in those few hours that would change the entire dynamic of the friendship or friendships, because it was a couple of them that went and went home and left her there. Like who does that? What kind of friend does that? Those people were never her friends to begin with. And like I can't even really say it, because if you feel like somebody is your friend and you trust them completely, why would you not want to vacate with them? Why would you not want to go out with them?
Okay, so I, as I said, I'm wrapping my head around all of this, and it leads to so much. And I agree that I don't think any disagreement or miscommunication would just lead me to say, hey, I'm going to get rid of you here and I'm just going to go home and be happy. And maybe even before this trip was planned, these so-called friends, because they're definitely not friends, as you said, were like, if we get the chance, you know how we say, if I meet that person in a dark alley, right?
I'm gonna hold him.
I'm gonna hold them, and that's the end of that. And so we look at this as, if we talk about the safety aspect, like, what are some of the signs that maybe we take to figure out if we're safe or we're unsafe? And I mean, again, you might look for suspicious people, you might look for weird behavior, you might just walk into an area and the vibe and the energy is off and you see looks and you're just like, okay, this isn't for me. But again, when you're with friends, you're my friend, you're somebody I trust, you're somebody, I decided to take up my money and I paid for a place to stay. I was like, let's do this. Let's have a girls' weekend, let's party, let's relax, you know. It's been a long couple of months. COVID is not so much of a major problem anymore, so let's do our thing. And you just never see it coming. And the word betrayal is a very deep cutting word, and I don't know, like, Delia, are you planning to betray me right now? Is that why you're in London? You're trying to like set up with some mafioso, some British guys over there? You're like gonna bring back like weapons in like a case of tea or something and just, this is for you, haha, Merry Christmas? Like, How can I trust you?
Really, Catherine. I would never do that to you.
I'm sure that's what her friends told her. I am sure that's what her friends told her.
Point. But that's not me. You've known me for years.
I'm sure she knew them for years too. This is what I'm saying. It's like, what if you're like, hey, let's come to London, and you push me on the train tracks, and you're just like, oops, he's clumsy.
Oh my gosh. Why would you say something like that about me?
Well, I have questions now. This whole story, I mean, it makes all readers confused, enraged, and it makes some people in fear. Like, how do I trust this person anymore? Who do I call my friend? And we've all been betrayed before by somebody. We've all been hurt by somebody that's close to us that we considered our friend, maybe even family. But it's never led to us losing our lives or in risk of our lives. And somebody who probably doesn't even have the time to process it is now gone. So how do we deal with that? How do we make people feel safe? How do we make people feel like, oh, all your friends won't do you this? But I'm looking behind my back because I don't know. You might be in London right now where you know you're on your way here and with an axe about to murder me. So
Let's be realistic now. I'm studying criminal justice. I'm not planning on being a victim. Okay?
perfect alibi.
But
Let's talk
I
about
think it's
betrayal for a moment. Could you remember, I won't say the first time, but the time when somebody that you really trusted betrayed you?
I
How
can think
did
of
it
a
make you
few
feel? Like,
times.
what was your response to that? Like, if you see them today, what would
I'd
you do?
probably want to push them on some train tracks for real, but I wouldn't do that.
Oh, Gladys has a suggestion.
When I see them, I just pass and pretend I didn't see them. Just walk straight.
Oh, so you
To
do
be
the you do not exist in my universe rule.
Yep.
exactly, that's exactly what I
So
do though.
you're not planning to like say, hey, let's go on vacation, let's
No.
party, and
No. Not done with.
that's done with. So that's how you responded to it. So not to completely pry into your business, but how did they betray you? Or you don't want to share that?
Talking bad about me, talking my business with somebody else, and they came back and told me. And
So they gave out information you
Information.
trusted them with,
right.
and it basically really, really annoyed you. And for that, you were just like, okay, you don't exist in my universe. We will not communicate anymore. Do you wish them bad though?
No.
So you've never thought, oh, I could have boxed. You ain't even got to think about killing them, but I could have boxed them in the mouth. I could have slapped them or pushed your heel.
I dreamt bad about them, but
You dreamt bad, or you just don't want to let the listeners and the viewers know that, you had a hit list once upon a time.
once upon a time.
Okay, so I mean, for me, I would have been through a situation where I would have had really close friends, and I got into like a relationship, and when you're close friends and you're in a relationship, you want everybody to agree and get together. And I think the one that really I remember the most is when I was having relationship issues, and these persons like who would have known me for all these years, and they never took my side on a situation that clearly like was just wrong. It like when I say wrong, like you can't make up an excuse to fix the situation. But yet they were trying to be a part of the excuse and say no, and I think I took the loudest route, and maybe because they were females at the same time, I was just like, maybe if it was a man, I would have just punched him square in the face or something. Back then I was
Yeah.
younger. But I basically took the route of, I'm not going to talk to you again. I'm not going to speak to you again. And I see a comment from Garth Alexander saying, that's just wild. So are we talking about Lourdes' situation that's wild, or we're talking about Shanquella's situation that's wild? So you could specify there for me, Garth. It's been there a while, so maybe I missed your comment. But Deli, what about you?
I have a few situations I could think of. A
Okay, I
recent
think we might
one.
be having a bit of technical difficulty once again, so just hang on. So we're talking about betrayal, but none of these situations have led us to want to end someone's life. And it takes a lot for you to say, I'm going to wake up this morning and I'm going to beat this person to death or plan a murder or anything like that. So, how about we look at it this way? What if there was some serious situation before they went on vacation and maybe Shanquella was the cause of this? I'm not saying this to say that they had the right to do what they had to do to her, but let's look at this logically. What if she did something and that was the reason why she was like, oh, let's take this trip. This is my apology. Let me pay for the Airbnb.
Yeah, but
And they just were like, I don't accept the apology. Can we just verify, Deli, is your mic working again?
I don't know.
It seems
Can
we're
you
still
hear
having a
me?
bit of technical issue. But I just find it very interesting and very crazy to just say, somebody hurt me so bad that you can't say, hey, let me walk away from it. As the Bible says, turn the other cheek. I mean, a lot of us don't believe in that. And I can't force you to believe in that. But it takes a lot for somebody to be on my hit list. It takes a lot for me to say, I'm going to go under false pretense and just get rid of you. But at the same time, I know a lot of people, because everybody takes things differently, you might just say the wrong thing and they want to choke you out. They want to get rid of you, your mother, your father, your sister, your dog. Some people are really like that, and I think those type of people, maybe they should get some help or some assistance.
Well, I feel that that was planned. The way they just waited till she was in another country to just do damage control right there.
So, do you feel it was just like they were just malicious, like they just wanted to get her, or do you feel maybe something happened and because of her they were just like, I mean, how do you feel that went?
Well, the young lady had her own salon, so I want to feel like they were jealous of her. Wait, what do you call it? Her upness.
Her ambitions and
Yes.
stuff like that. So, yeah, they were jealous of her upness,
Yep.
you know, and some of us can't stay up, so we bring you down. And I can see that as a point, but am I so jealous of you or I'm so begrudging of what you're building or what you have that I'm just gonna I really need some clarity on the situation, and the more news you hear about this situation, the more you realize like the initial report were lies and the alcohol poisoning was a lie. They didn't even plan this situation properly. They videotaped attacking the young woman, and they left a whole lot of evidence. So you plan to betray your friend, and then you just leave everything wide open, and it's ridiculous. And I still believe, because I think this is planned right now, why Delhi just disappear on me, because she looking to, come and axe murder me like anytime. So I'm kind of worried right now. So I might need some protection. But I mean, I would love to hear our listeners' opinions on this if you want to call in.
Can you guys
But
still not hear me?
we've had local stories of betrayal and situations where, there's been cheating or there's been like movement of monies and stuff like that. And people have, for the lack of the better term, lost their lives. And it's always been like a big thing here to think that, okay, this man who loved his wife just murdered her because he couldn't take a bite. For me, that's like he felt betrayed, and then he decided, well, I I can't do this anymore. So you hurt me, I'm going to hurt you, and I'm going to hurt everybody around you, and then myself. And again, that's where I think people need help. Like, a lot of this is like you think you have an obsessive stalker because you're just there like, huh, like you're
No,
relating to this story.
Well, I don't know. I hope not.
Yeah, yeah.
Deli, I think I heard a little sound from you there.
Oh, you can hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. I think because I let out your master plan, you kind of came back to try and make it seem like Miss Criminal Law. Like, I'm catching you. I'm on to you.
No. Right,
So-
but like Lourdes was saying that they were probably jealous of her success. I think it's probably that because you said maybe something happened. I don't know. Like if somebody do you something, why would you want to go on a vacation with him? Unless you're like trying to take advantage of them. A free vacation, maybe. But for them to beat her to the point, or maybe they didn't meet her to die. They just
That's
thought like we'll beat her up and we'll show our love. And unfortunately, she died.
Very unfortunately, because now you have a family that wants answers. They got so many wild stories already, and they heard one thing, and maybe they probably believed it at first, and they're just like, how could she drink herself to death, you know? And then the doctor said, this is not alcohol poisoning. There's a lot of other things going on here. Like, how do you settle that? How do you fix that? Me looking for my daughter to come home after having a great vacation and knowing the people I let her go with did her that? Like, what now if the cycle continues and the parents are now looking for revenge, or maybe other family members or other friends? I'm sure there are a lot of people hurting, there are a lot of people confused, and yes, we talk about betrayal and we understand when somebody hurt us, we understand. I'm sure Lourdes done been on the floor crying before from being hurt, from betrayal. You know, I'm sure we've all lost weight from that type of situation. But
It's unfortunate, you know, when you have someone, you don't expect them to like do something that's gonna betray your trust or go against the image they have you have of them. Because I've been in situations, and I had a recent situation where someone was like boosting me up to get this job, like you know, like saying like positive stuff. And then I find out that behind my back, they were actually trying to get me fired from the job.
Wow.
wow, and I'm going to be honest with you. Or just a quick mention. Queemy's in the chat. He said a reach. So our chat ambassador is here. So Queemy, if you're following along, you can give your points. And if you believe that Delhi is out to get me, make sure you make it clear in the chat. Make sure we have some written evidence there. But back to what you were saying, Nelly. Do you realize how common that is in our society? Like, especially at work, let's say not necessarily you're being in a competitive work environment where you have to outdo somebody in order to get, whether it be a higher wage or a promotion or so. Some people just love to backstab you. Some
Just in the
people,
nature.
correct, some people, they see you walk in the morning time, they smile with you, hi, how you doing? How you do last night? How's your children? How did this situation work out? And as soon as I got in another room, you leave, why, he think he all that, he think me, you know, he girlfriend biting him, he think he got handle this situation and he ain't qualified. What is with that type of nature? Because when we talk about betrayal, we don't also have to mean friends. Our co-workers are we call them co-workers for a reason. We're a team. We work together, so we're supposed to be a force, you know. So it's a how does that happen? Like, how do you just see somebody and just say, "I don't like you" for no reason?
Well, there are people out there that say that, they go on and just say they don't like you.
Why?
Just because of
You
what you
realize, like, black people do that? I don't. Well, let me say. Maybe Caribbean people. Like me, like Sheena, Miss Spirit ain't come.
Why?
You know
What?
what?
Why do we have this major problem? Why is it that we see somebody and we don't even know them, and there could be the greatest somebody, there could be your number one fan, there could be the person rooting for you, and you're just like, okay, I'm going to give them this false me, and then as soon as I get a chance, I'll ruin them.
If I knew, I'd tell you, but I don't know.
Yeah, it's
I
this
don't know
rat
why people
race
do that.
mentality, and as you say, it's a Caribbean thing. Like, one thing I have to, like, I mention to people, because I have a lot of friends from other ethnicities, and some of them are locals here, and sometimes they would ask me, "Oh, why do Kittitian people do this? Why?" Because sometimes I would feel like, okay, I'm friends with this person now, we interact, and then they just have to say the one wrong thing, or somebody's in a bad mood, and everything comes out. Oh, you ain't from here, go from here, what you talking to me for, whatever. And just like yesterday, we were talking good. We were talking about sports, you know? And then you ask yourself, why? And so they've asked me this question. And I even had to say that I can't even say it's like a race thing, because black people can be racist, right? It's not a race thing. We're like nationalists. We're going to start from the people that ain't from here. They could be black. You could be Jamaican. You could be Antiguan. Once they know you're not from here, they come for you. And then we move on to the next thing. We move on to work. We even move on to our neighbors. Every morning you wake up, you say, "Hey, neighbor." And then you're like, "Wait, she know, man, she." You think me and see what she bringing? And you will go out with your neighbor. You will go out with your neighbor. If anything happen in the community, you and your neighbor side to side. But yeah, it's like this. But as soon as you reach in your four walls, bye. She ain't no good. She think I stupid. And betrayal comes on a whole other level, because sometimes you think your simple neighbor looking. I'm sure there are people who think they're good with their neighbors, and the neighbor them in the house eating chips,
and chatting the business.
chatting the business, but they're watching your house get breaking at the same time. And they won't tell you anything. But that's a form of betrayal. And where do we put our trust? What do we understand? If we are betrayed, how do we try to deal with the situation and understand what happened and move on from that? But then those are like simple betrayals and situations where you might just not talk to the person, or you might have an aggressive relationship with the person after that. But what happens if you betray me and somebody ends up dead?
I guess that's what happened with Sean Colon. The betrayed her and she ended up dead.
Right.
So, what's the current situation with these girls from the video and all the so-called friends that went with her? Were they allowed to initially... Well, you said they went back home.
Yeah, they went back home without her.
So, after the doctor said, well, hey, this is not alcohol poisoning, were these persons collected? Were they looked for? Do they have them in holding, or are we still sticking to the same story that it's alcohol poisoning until we can prove that they killed them?
Oh no. Well, the Mexico police have put out to say like they would extradite them, so they would take them from the States and bring them to Mexico for court and so forth.
Interesting. So basically we have a case out of this. So what if they plead that I didn't mean to kill her? What if we were all intoxicated? I didn't mean no harm.
No.
She said something and it got us all upset and we all jump out.
No, and the friend there her best friend there videotaping her. Ain't
Well,
this nothing?
maybe when I'm drunk, I like to videotape stuff.
No, and he said in the video, whatever the girl name, you can't fight. She said no.
That sounds playful to me. What do you think, Delhi? That sounds very playful.
That it didn't look playful at all.
It didn't look at all, especially with those licks. She
It was not
she
playful. Exactly. With the injuries that she got. No.
Again, our viewers or listeners, if you want to call in, if you want to leave a comment, if you want to express how you feel right now about this situation, because it's a lot to take in. And I think for me as a man, I'm taking it in a certain way, but the two brilliant women that are with me here tonight, they're taking it in on a whole different level, because they're just like, that could have been me. I'm vulnerable. What do we do?
I think it's hard because you trust people, and at the end of the day, it's a risk. You can't really be positive as to what a person is actually thinking. You can make some assumptions based on your interactions with them, your conversations, because a person can hide themselves for only a while. It doesn't last forever. At some point, your true self is going to show.
I agree to that, but what if their true self shows when they're about to jump you?
I don't know.
So, I think we should look at it from like this point of view. Giving and hearing this information, do we stop trusting people, or do we forget about it? How do we bring across or make this sad situation sound palatable to somebody that might be trying to come out of their shell? I know that they hear this and they're like, well, that's why I never trust people in the first place. That's why I stay in my own lane. Should we say, yes, there are going to be people that you meet in your life that you can trust, but at the same time, you always have to be very careful. But then it's like you have to be careful of everybody. So at the end of the day, it's like,
You don't know who to trust.
how do we solve this dilemma? Because people are hurting, and maybe because it's not here, maybe because it's not in St. Kitts right now, or situations like that have not come to light. Because I've heard talk about friends going to the bar and somebody spiking somebody's drink, or somebody trying to set somebody up on them and the person says no. How do we deal with these things? Like, what advice can we give somebody? Trust until it's too late, or trust but don't fully trust? Nobody wants to go out and have a good time or think that I'm bonding with the people I care about, and then you just cease, I think human beings are very interesting creatures, and it's sad, and my heart goes out to Shanquella's family, her mother, and whomever has been trying to find answers. I hope that she does get the answers that she's looking for. I hope that there's some resolution. It's sad, but once a life is gone, it can't come back.
Exactly.
Correct. But I think that we should not let these type of situations discourage us and allow us to hide in a hole. Maybe we just have to look a bit more, be much more careful. If it's a situation where you think, okay, something's been off, I don't think that you should try to be alone with people and repair it if you know that you've had issues with the people around you. I mean, there are a lot of places to talk. We can go out in the open. We can go sit down at rituals. We can go in the park, and we can have a conversation and sometimes it takes time to mend because maybe the person really, really have it out for you and they're just wishing for that one moment to be in that dark alley. But maybe over time, you know, you see each other once in a while, you sit down, you have a conversation, maybe you guys understand each other. Or maybe you're just going to realize, like, bye, this person look like they will never, you know, forgive me for this moment, or this person don't understand where I'm coming from. Maybe you should leave it alone. There has to be somebody in your life that you can trust. And betrayal comes in many forms. It can come from something as simple as a family member taking something of yours when you didn't expect them to. But we have to find ways and means to deal with it, you know? I don't think no situation of betrayal, unless, like, for some reason you kill my whole family or something like out of a movie.
Question. She went with 5 friends.
Mm-hmm.
What were the other 2 doing? Or the other one was doing?
Maybe they were getting beat. They already got beaten up too. Maybe they weren't present at the time. You know, there are a lot of variables, and I'm hoping that not all of them were involved in this whole act, and maybe those who were left out were really unaware, because it'd be sad to know that the 5 people that you trusted the most really wanted you gone.
So I also feel that was planned. They were out for a long time.
Yeah, man, they grudge a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, basically, you know, she's been doing well and maybe just telling me, oh, I could take you guys to Mexico and pay for the Airbnb.
She was flaunting she money, flaunting her success.
You see that rich people, liming rich people, they ain't gonna worry about the poor people
But she
banging
worked
you.
for what she had.
Just joking. Just joking. But other people don't understand the concept of working for what you have. They just know you have it.
Exactly. They only see what you have, they don't see what you do to get what you have.
So, I don't know if you guys have any more input before we take another break and move on to the letter to OTR, which is, of course, extra spicy. I mean, I'm sure Delhi could feel the spice all the way over in London, right? So, if that's it, we'll take a short break. I'll be right back.
OTR Nation, prepare yourself. This is gonna be a show to remember with your hosts Shan and Deli as we dive into deep conversation about relationship, true crime, travel, entrepreneurship, health, and much, much more. Join us right here on Sugar City FM 90.3 every Wednesday night, starting from 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. Also live on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube at Off the Record Radio Show or Off the Record Radio Program. You're listening to the sounds of Off the Record with your host, Shan and Deli on Sugar City 90.3 FM. Advertise with Off the Record today by emailing us at offtherecordprogram@gmail.com. That's OFFTHERECORDPROGRAM@gmail.com. You may also call or WhatsApp us at 869-765-4342. Thank you for your partnership.
Na 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 na. Whoa, 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 whoa. Life is so good to me. Life is so good to me. Whoa, whoa, yeah. From your wake up this morning, you're the winner. Yeah, 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 yeah. From your wake up this morning, you're the winner. can get on and wine till she body can wind up no more. Cause life is short and tomorrow not sure, so I live like it's my last.
And we're back. And ooh, Delhi, have you seen our letter this week?
Yes, I have. I have, and it is juicy.
I think it has too much juice. I think I should be allowed to take a shot before I start reading these letters every Wednesday night.
No alcohol in the studio, Kashif.
So I take it before I come in the studio then.
Well, it'll wear off by the time you're reading the letter.
Not if I get the right stuff. Modern problems call for modern solutions.
Good
So,
point.
Let's get into this letter, and let me take my time and try to read this properly. I want my first child, but I want my girlfriends to be happy too. Dear Otia, don't judge me. I have 2 girlfriends and they both know each other, so I thought everything was okay. Girlfriend number 1 and I were together for over 4 years, and girlfriend number 2 and I started about a couple months ago. You see, I didn't want 2 girlfriends in the first place, but girlfriend number 1 can't have kids because she has something called PCOS. I really want kids though, but don't want to break up with her because she is a sweet girl and even wife material. So I told her we can get someone to have our baby for us and pay them. She agreed, and we found a girl who agreed to do it for us secretly. Over the past 4 months, me and the girl were having sex with hopes of making this baby, no strings attached, and girlfriend number 1 knew. Anyway, feelings developed between me and this girl, and we started doing more than we intended and ending up being in a relationship. The thing is, we just found out that girlfriend number 2 is 2 weeks pregnant. Girlfriend number 1 is upset and wants girlfriend number 2 to get an abortion and for me to stop seeing her. But I kinda love her too, and I know she can give me my firstborn. I want to keep everyone happy and to have my first child also. What do you think I should do? So, my first opinion is, what in the white people? Number 1. Number 2, remember you're winning. You're winning on so many levels, but you're losing on so many other levels because...
I was just about to say that. Losing.
Well, I thought the whole purpose of this situation was to get the child, right? To have this girl have his baby. It's your business. You ain't got nobody know. Nobody got to judge you. You want your child. But why is it now the first girlfriend is upset and basically wants an abortion? I thought that's what they both agreed on.
It's different. It's different. He changed the dynamic. He went and made this girlfriend, this girl, his girlfriend. It was just supposed to be strictly business. She get pregnant, she gave the child to him and his girlfriend. From the time he made it official with the second girl, it was over. I mean, I don't understand why the girlfriend number 1 stayed. But it doesn't make any sense because if she's thinking he wants a child, she can't give him a child. This girlfriend number 2 is pregnant. She is potentially gonna give him a child. He needs to choose. Because clearly girlfriend number 1 is she's not happy.
But girlfriend number 1 said okay to the surrogate, right? Am I missing that?
But she didn't want him to have any sexual intercourse with her. We're just about to have the baby. That's it. Nothing sexual.
I mean, did she specify that? Was that like in writing?
Okay. I think they probably didn't go through the professional or correct channels for the surrogacy. So
That
he was
happens.
actually having sex with the girl.
Yeah.
Yes. What happened is that he caught feelings.
I mean, wow. Okay, so to our letter writer, I don't know how blunt I should be with this because, I mean, you could keep it very logical in our business. You want your child, you agree to have this child. You would talk to your first girlfriend. Maybe you would have to, in the end, as Delicia said, make a choice. Yes, I want my baby, but I won't talk to her again. But there's so many complications that leads to that because if you already have feelings for her and you're trying to cut off relations with her and have the baby, it does not work. And if both of y'all have feelings for each other, what happens then? And I need to know the level of your feelings. Do you have more feelings for the girl that's about to have your child? Or for your first girlfriend that you said is wife material? You wanted your cake and eat it too, and then you added ice cream on top of that.
Spoil the whole thing.
Correct. Like,
So now no one's happy.
Well, I wouldn't say no one. Girlfriend number one is not happy. But
that is true because, I mean, if you cut girlfriend number one out, not saying you should, if you're listening, not saying you should, but if you cut girlfriend number one out and you're still in with girlfriend number two, who apparently you have feelings for now, she have feelings for you, and you have your child, it sounds like the perfect situation you wanted. But then now, is that fair to girlfriend number one who agreed to this? It's not her fault. Is the terminology PCOS?
Yes.
Does anybody know what PCOS means? So, where Lourdes gets on that. Deli, how, if you were in this situation, how would you remedy it?
it's particular. I mean, because now a child is involved, you have to think about the child. Girlfriend number one is unhappy. If he stays with the girl or if the girl keeps the child, he has to be in the child's life. Girlfriend number one probably is gonna have an issue with that. So like it's just gonna be a toxic thing. I think he probably, if it was me, I would have chose the woman that is going to make me the happiest and work out the best way to be a parent to my child.
That's a very, I would say that's a very logical and grown up way to view it, but I want to take a shot in the dark here and say it doesn't sound like these persons are like of age, like of a certain age where, you know, you could think that logically, because it seems like it's a whole lot of feelings, like young man wants his youth and the girl who want to keep him just like, it sounds messy,
No, you
doesn't
can't
it?
say that because maybe he's an older guy and he hasn't gotten a child yet. Maybe
Okay.
his girlfriend is older also. Maybe girlfriend number two is the young one.
So, Lourdes is going to tell us what PCOS is right quick.
PCOS, other known as polycystic ovary syndrome, is a problem with hormones that happens during the reproductive years. If you have PCOS, you may not have periods very often, or you may have periods that last many days. You may also have too much of a hormone called androgen in your body.
Okay, so from hearing that explanation, it sounds like she does have some imbalances and some situations which could make pregnancies risky. And you can't blame her for that. I mean, you're not in charge of those things. And going back again, if I guess, as you said, the couple is older and they've really been trying, I would think that also leads me to say that they've had history. So, yeah, I might say, okay, my child is coming from with this other lady and stuff like that. But what happened to all the times you all have been together and probably maybe might have realized that your first girlfriend had this situation when you were trying to get, like, does history not account for nothing? Does me not being with you through your darkest time or through the struggle not count for anything? Or it's just that, yeah, me youth here and this one bring me youth, and like, you can't tell me it was just supposed to be business, but I love her, but I now love her too. Can I throw out a question? Do you believe a man can love two people equally?
No.
Lord, it's one time.
No. Not
You always
possible.
have to love one person more than the other. Someone's gonna get jealous in between of it.
So I think, and I really hope he's listening, where does your heart really lie? Where is this going? Because, yeah, you seem to be getting what you want, but you're really hurting somebody that has probably been through it with you. It's not her fault that she didn't say, oh, I'm not having a baby. She even
That's
agreed
true.
to this specific situation, and now she's losing out.
He's being selfish.
Very much so. I agree to that.
Yeah. In my opinion, he's being selfish.
So, you know me. I always love so much like more context. But in our letters, I know you guys just really try to get to the meat of the matter. And maybe it ain't really all of our business to know, but I really hope that you're not just doing things on a whim and you're not being selfish just because you're trying to continue your generation and not think about other people that were involved before. Why not? We've been talking about this all night. Sit down and communicate. Why don't you listen to how she feels and whatever like that? Why don't you try to come to an understanding? And you gotta be a man. I'm gonna put it plain and simple. You have to be a man. You have to make a choice. And you have to be secure with your choice. Because at the end of the day, somebody is going to get hurt. Because now you have two women that want you for themselves, and it doesn't seem like there's any compromise. And you guys put yourself in a situation, and sometimes it's not easy. You have to rip it off like a band-aid, and it hurts. But you have to make an appropriate choice, and we can say here that you're being selfish, but at the end of the day, your choice is your choice. We really don't know who you are. We ain't gonna see you down the road and judge your life, but you gotta be respectful to these people at the same time, and whatever choice you make, you could cover it up with as much sweet words as you want, but it's going to be hurtful. I mean, I honestly, you were winning at the start. I think for most men that were listening, they're like, bye? They well want to know who you be. Two girlfriend and you're getting through, but then it's like you bit off more than you could chew. And now you're in a situation where a child is involved, abortion is involved, and when we talk about the point of abortion, I heard your first girlfriend is the one recommending it, but at the same time, I don't think that is her choice to make.
She's not recommending it. She's insisting that the girl have an abortion.
She's insisting that the girl has an abortion. But is it her choice? Because it's not her body.
Of course
it's not her
not.
child. So here we have now your first girlfriend now trying to infringe on the rights of your second girlfriend. And it doesn't work like that. Even To be honest, I'm going to be very honest with you. If your second girlfriend wants to keep that child, even if you say get rid of it, you have no say in it either.
At the end of the day, girlfriend number two holds a lot of the cards. He can choose to leave her. He can choose to stay with her. He could choose to stay with girlfriend number one or leave her. But at the end of the day, the dynamics are so touchy. I think the way that went wrong in the first place was with the surrogacy. They should have gone to the proper channels. It should have never been a case where he had to actually have sex with this girl. That's where the problem started.
I agree. Now hearing you talk about this, which is an extremely valid point, I remember reading an article maybe last year or the year before, but apparently surrogacy costs a lot of money. It's a lot of money. So what people do, especially in larger countries, they just do it underneath the table. They go on websites, they go on Facebook, they're looking for whatever, they have the codes. I could remember one story where a Chinese woman, and she was of Asian descent, let me not be specific to Chinese, she sought out a male donor to have a child, basically. And her husband agreed to it, or whatever, and they contacted the guy via Facebook. So, about maybe 6 or 8 months after, they went through the situation because they went full-on intercourse, of course, because, again, there's no technology involved, no doctors, no hospital. The woman was complaining about how the child looked. Only to find out, I guess, the specifics she was looking for in the male, he lied about. So she was looking for some foreigner, exotic breed. I don't remember the exact specifics. But it turned out he was a regular Chinese man. Probably just had a little darker skin tone. And he just graduated from college and he needed the money. And he had a wife and 4 children already. So he lied about that, but when she saw the baby, she just said something wasn't right. So she hired an investigator and found out the particulars about the guy. And I think she carried him to court for like $12 million.
She was supposed to do all of that first.
But
Did she win?
I think they're still in court. There was never any conclusion to it yet. And I think you could actually look it up and follow the story because I've been highly invested in it. But that's to show you a lot of these people, they can't afford it and they go through all kind of channels or back ways and then situations happen and look at you now.
But she had a private investigator, so she had money.
Exactly.
Maybe it
But
costs
then
more.
again, surrogacy costs a lot. It costs a lot of
It
money.
costs a lot of money.
But I think the least that they could have done was gone to a lawyer and got a contract drawn up.
Correct.
That's not going to cost you a lot of money.
Correct. You know, and that's a brilliant point because we're going to say this out. I firmly believe this. With sex, once you're having constant, we're not talking about a one-night stand, we're not talking about, hi, I see you every couple of months. Once this is constant, there's a situation that's going to develop. There's going to be feelings that develop. And we need to be so clear of this. How many people have just told you, your friends, whomever, it's just this. And then 2 months later, it's a whole different story.
You know
And-
what's a red flag too? I'm thinking about it now. How many times did this guy have sex with this girl? So
He
much
said-
so that he ended up making her his girlfriend.
Like he literally said way too many times that he intended to.
So clearly, he was around and messed up. No.
Shawty, she was just that good.
He had one job. One job. And he did way more than he was asked to do.
I agree. Queenie just said nothing causes more problems than consistent sex.
He's right.
Which is true.
So maybe the fact of the matter is, as you said, he had one job, he messed up, and maybe he started having intercourse with girlfriend number 2 more than girlfriend number 1, and maybe, you know, he started, you know, mentally thinking, okay, I'm more in love with her than I am with her, or I'm catching feelings for her because we're always doing this thing. Maybe that's how his brain worked.
Could be just that.
I think he was thinking with the other brain.
That happens as well. But you know, and sometimes the other brain it's more closely connected to the heart.
He only love the girl because she's bringing the child. If the child wasn't
Probably,
there, I
you
don't
know.
feel, he
I
would-
think he
don't
has
want
like
to
some
have
misguided
something.
emotions.
And number 1 can't bring the child, but number 2 can bring the child.
That's a valid point. And what if he wants more children after this is over? Wouldn't he want his...
So he want number 2 to be
Yeah?
in it.
He wants the best of both worlds. He's being selfish. Girlfriend
So-
number 1 needs to find her worth and dump him.
Well, hopefully girlfriend number 1's not listening. I know she's being suspicious, but...
I want her to be listening. She should dump. She should leave. I think she should leave because why is it even a question? Like if we end this together, we went into this with one objective. One. He made this girl his girlfriend. Strike number one. Strike number two. Is strike number one. He just
I love to hear it. So what's our actual advice to him, though? Because that we gave some advice to girlfriend number 1, but she is not the one that wrote us the letter. Because, you know,
right.
we see it's a predicament now. What's our advice to him?
Why?
Honestly, I think he needs to like sit down and really think about what he wants. Clearly, he wants a child. That is very important to him. And girlfriend number 2 is pregnant. But which woman does he actually want to be with? Because let's think about it. It's not realistic. It's not plausible for him to have both of these women. Girlfriend number 1 is already making outrageous demands. So suppose girlfriend number 2 go and get this abortion. She gets pregnant again. Then another abortion? No. So he needs to really decide what he wants.
Okay, I could agree to that. Lourdes, I think you had a comment? Come back to you. Okay, so I really do agree with your comment, Deli, in that a conversation needs to be had, a serious conversation, and you know, maybe what his real priority in a relationship is being able to have children and, you know, carry on his lineage, and maybe he needs to explain that to her. And maybe again, it's going to hurt because maybe she's like, oh, I made myself flexible to you. I allowed you to let somebody else come in and do that. And maybe that was your first mistake, my friend, right? But at the same time, you can't have your cake and eat it too, and add the ice cream and the caramel sauce and the chocolate sauce, and you're going to get cavities. You know, we already have one farmed right now, and you're threatening to take away a life that really and truly y'all are in much control of. For me, the right goes to girlfriend number 2. And you might be planning to have more children as well. And I don't think you should be putting 2 people in this situation where you're putting one down and you're boosting up another one, or you have them confused as to what's going on next. And just like how we ask women to be very honest and very straight with us, you have to be very honest and very straight with them. And It can't work. You hear that man from Jamaica say he got 2 women and they're happy. Can't work. It cannot work when you're already bringing a child into the situation, and as you can see, the situation is not working in your favor. So I would say, before you even have a conversation with them, have a conversation with yourself. Sit down, and just, what do you want? Think about how you want to respect these ladies and how you want them to feel after, because this is a lot of emotional baggage and a lot of emotional damage to be had. Think about your previous actions and think about where you want to go with these actions. And then when you make a decision for yourself, of course, which won't be easy, so take time and be very careful about how you think. You go and you have a conversation with both of them, and hopefully you can resolve the situation and make a choice, because life is full of choices and we can't choose everything, that works for you. And in the end, these ladies can move on from it once time has passed. Lourdes, anything else from you?
Not at this point.
Not at this point? So Delia, I have a proposition for you, and let's be honest. Right, I want a child born in London, so I'm going to ship you a package. Right? I'm going to ship you a
You want me
package.
to find you a British woman?
I mean, it seems like we're both on the same page, because I'm trying to be like this guy. I'm trying to sow some wild oats over here, so
Because she feel terrible now.
I'm
where
going
I
to
can
indulge you.
have cake and ice cream and eat it as well. Like,
No.
this situation
You
is,
want to be in
I
this
refuse to help.
situation?
you see the differences, right? We ain't gonna got to put like my name or where I'm from or anything. We just spreading them. Like those farmers that just go out and they just throw the seed them. They know where to drop and. You with me?
No, I'm not with you.
No.
No?
You're on your own.
No?
Definitely on your own.
Okay, so before we wrap up and stuff, I think we've given this gentleman an idea of what should be done, but I want to kind of cement the fact, and if I have permission, I would like to use both of you as some case studies. Like, Deli, how would you feel knowing that you're in a relationship with a gentleman and the proposition was brought forward to you personally? Let's go from the start. Like, we're gonna show him where the situation went left from the very beginning. So for whatever reason, there might be a change, and your partner does you wants a child and you can't bring that child. What would you have done if the proposition came up to bring a second person in and basically do the same situation? We can't use the surrogate method. Artificial insemination is off the table. You average Joe can't afford it. Do you agree? How do you feel about that question?
It's a hard no for me. It's a hard no for me. I would go to the bank, see if I could get a loan, and do it that way, and pay for it the legal way. Y'all never watching on them movies? I watched this movie, right? Same situation. But the couple was rich.
Mm-hmm.
But they brought the girl to live with them. The girl became pregnant, but she also became obsessed with the husband. So she was actively trying to sabotage the marriage so that she could be with the husband. I want no parts. No parts at all. Nothing close. Nothing similar.
I mean, not even if the person is like a good-looking guy, nice job.
I don't care.
He's everything you've ever wanted for, and you literally dream, and you see this guy, and he's literally telling you, "Have my baby."
That's a red flag right there.
Yeah,
No.
thank you, Lourdes.
Thank you, Lourdes. Red flag. I prefer we try, you try, we try, and we're gonna try again until a miracle happens. We're gonna have a miracle
Amen.
baby.
Amen. Or we go to the bank and we get the loan.
Wow, I think that's interesting. For me, I mean, I would I do that venture? I mean, for the laughs, maybe. I would do it. I would suggest it to see how far I could go with it. Like, I would literally go and find a person, bring them home, be like, do a 360 spin. Show my baby what you're working with. This is how our baby's gonna look. Like, that's totally me. You know, I would see how far I could go with it. But I do know there are a lot of issues with it. But there are a lot of issues. But I mean, if me and you agree to a plan, let's take this our letter for example. If we agree to a plan and you know we stick to the plan, don't you think that works?
No.
No.
What I love about Lourdes is that she just like brutally honest with her opinion. She's not gonna waste any time trying to be like, he's not going to convince me on this. Lourdes, for $1 million US to be somebody's surrogate.
Me, I gonna be the surrogate.
Yeah. Okay. I find
It's
that.
worth thinking about.
Wow. No. Okay, so I'm changing my answer for the gentleman that wrote that letter to OTR. My friend, get some money, right? Boop, watch. Hustle that money and do whatever you want as long as you're paying out. Right, ladies?
Once
No.
I get the money.
No.
So is it a no for you, Daddy, or is it once you're getting the money as well?
Maybe if the situation wasn't toxic.
Right, yeah.
I mean, $1 million is a lot of money.
I was just
US Delhi,
I
To
was
US.
be
just
pregnant one time.
I was just about to say, I mean, toxic or not, you say give him $1 million and you take your child up and you go to the Poconos
I
or
want
something.
zero parts of the drama. I don't want to be the drama. I don't want to be like, am I the drama?
Just carrying
No,
the baby and
no.
that's it.
Wow. Okay, so I think we've solidified the point. So to our viewer from OTR, I'm going to say our letter to OTR and our viewers and our listeners, I think we've gotten a proper perspective. And my friend, I hope that you're listening and you're taking all of this in. I don't know if anybody has any final comments or calls they want to make before we wrap up this session, but I think tonight's topic talked a lot about how we handle relationships and situations with other people and how we should be very respectful and analyze how we do things. And sometimes we just need to leave well enough alone and take the higher road and move on to a different option. Delhi, any final thoughts?
Yeah, we need to be more mindful or more observant when we're dealing with people. It's gonna be difficult and you're not gonna always know who you're dealing with. People surprise you every day. But just when you get a vibe and it's not a good vibe, remove yourself from the situation. That's the best advice I could give anyone. Yeah.
Correct. Lourdes, anything while we close off?
Well, I have to agree with what everything Delhi just said.
All right. So this has been another evening with your hosts, Kashif and Delicia. Sadly, Chantal did not make it tonight, but next week she'll be here in all her glory. And Delicia, I just want to thank you for taking the time out because I know it's super late where you're at right now.
Yeah, it's
And
almost 2 a.m.
It's almost 2 a.m., guys, and Deli is still here giving you advice, showing you love. So make sure you like OTR page, make sure you subscribe, and make sure you share it with all your friends, because we are dedicated to the people here trying to just have a conversation in a safe space. So Deli, once again, thank you so much. Hopefully you'll be here next week. If not, she'll be here some other time, guys. Fingers crossed. Have a good evening, and we'll see you next week.
Bye. Bye.
The opinions and statements made by the host and participants in this program are not those of the owners,